Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to another episode of Let's Finally Talk with Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. That would be me. And I'm super excited to be here. If this is your first time, whether it's on the live or replay, or you're listening on a podcast platform, welcome. The whole purpose is just to come and have a chat about something maybe that happened in my day, reflections I want to share with you. And typically, as today, I am coming to you live from my home and from just getting back from the gym and having two incredible workout classes. So here I am. And today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about something that when I first started my businesses, it used to come up for me in not a great way. And I would get really upset about it. And that's when I would hear no, or I don't want to do this anymore, or I'm not going to partner with you, or I'm going to do something different. And I remember very distinctly when I was in corporate, which was for probably 28 years. I was in telecommunications and then I was in the event planning space. And if I heard a no from a client or prospect, I would just take that as a not now or not yet, but sometime in the future, we will do business. And I kind of brought that into my personal businesses in that I would think, okay, I haven't brought the value that's needed, or there's not actually a good matchup in terms of skill sets. But as I became more entrenched in my business and really learning so much from my mentors and from research and really just from experience, what I realized was that every connection is not meant to be a partnership. Every networking event is not meant to be walking away with 5 great prospects. And everything comes back to finding a solution and setting boundaries. And so now that I am really in the throes of this television network, it's been January 15th of 2022, and my Dr. Jacalyn Life Coaching, which is really where I have my courses, my master classes, giving my speeches, writing my books, doing retreats. That's really just gotten off the ground, I would say, in the last year and a half, 2 years. So what I've come to learn is that people will come along with you. They'll decide to work with you. They'll be your clients. Maybe they'll be your mentors. But at some point, it might not be a good fit. It might not be for them, and it might not be for you. And in the past, I had been really taking things personally. And I think I shared this before, but we've had a newsletter and it's kind of a beast to put together, to be honest with you, for the television network, because we have so many TV shows and so many team members that we actually just have stopped doing it for a while because there's so many parts and pieces to it. But in the beginning, I would actually get personally upset if I saw that someone unsubscribed. And for me personally, I have a lot of newsletters that other people have sent me over the years, and I don't really ever unsubscribe because I always feel like there's something that I can learn. Let me look and see what they're doing in their newsletter. Whereas some other people, very quickly, they just decide, okay, I'm not going to read this. It's not for me. But to me, everything is a learning opportunity. So if someone's sending me something, I'm going to just look it over and see if there's any value in it, or maybe there's some way I can give back to that person. And as time evolved, I realized that when someone unsubscribed, that was a good thing, because that's the whole topic of today is elevated listening and action, finding the hidden yes in every no. That when one person leaves, that actually creates space for someone new to come in. And I didn't really embrace this as much as I do today. But today, I really do not get upset when someone says, I am not going to do this with you anymore, or I changed my mind, Because to me, that person or persons, they made a commitment to do something, and then for whatever reason, they decided not to fulfill it. And that's not a contract with me. That's a contract with them. So I like to just give people grace and thank them for the time we had together. And I've used this analogy before as well. But if you think of a tree, and if you think of a tree that's been around for 100 years, it's got really deep roots in the ground. And sometimes we even see those roots are breaking through the sidewalk or the asphalt, or whatever the case may be. And think about how long it took, because I don't know the age of trees. I'm not an expert in that area. But if you think about, there's a tree that was planted in my father's name after he died. And it was planted in Florida and it's still there. And he died in 2012. And the last time I saw it before I moved last year, I couldn't believe when I looked up, I couldn't believe how big the tree was from when we just planted it. And it was just a little nothing. And so those roots go so deep into the ground, really to anchor the tree, so that no matter what comes, if you think about Florida and the hurricanes and the storms, that tree will wave back and forth, move back and forth. But yet, for most cases, some cases no, but for most cases, it's going to stay there in the ground. And so having friendships and or relationships like that the roots are so deep, that's a rare thing. It's a rare thing. Now, I can say for me, I'm very fortunate in the work that I'm doing. What started out, USA Global TV and Radio, started out as Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn, and it was a hobby. I had a radio show out of New York, and I had an in-person television show in South Jersey in the US. And it was really a hobby. I paid for both of them and I was excited to do them. But it was more about being a TV show host or being a radio show host, until someone said to me, "How much would it cost for me to have a show with you?" And then it turned into something else. And so today, many of the people who started with me are still with me. In fact, we had two people today do shows, and one said they had been here for 4.5 years, and the other said 5. So to me, they're the roots, they're the rocks, they're the people. But other people will not be the roots of a tree. And maybe you and I will not be the roots of a tree for someone else, but for someone we will. Some people will be the leaves. If you think about leaves and how they're attached, but they blow in the wind, and then some of them, they fall off. And then as the leaves change, they fall off. And some of them are branches, and the branches are going to be sturdier than the leaves, right? So the leaves will come and go. So when I have a client or a prospect or acquaintance that comes and goes, that's okay, because we served our time together as it was supposed to be. And as Mel Robbins says, and I just love her for this, let people do what they're going to do. And instead of losing our emotions and getting all caught up over what someone else is doing, let them go. Let people be who they are so that we can be who we are. So when it comes to business, I've really set boundaries. And initially, this was a tough thing for me because I'm a very kind person, and I used to be highly emotional. But to run a business, and businesses I have two, you can't be highly emotional. So you've got to be able to be logical, practical, and you've got to be able to plan. And of course, you have to have compassion and empathy, all these things. But what I do is I now set boundaries that when someone shows me who they are, I now believe them. And I was not like that before. I used to think, oh, they don't really mean that, or they'll come back, or they'll change their mind. And now I believe when someone says something to me, I believe that's what they mean. I take them for their word, and I don't try to change it, because why have someone in your professional life or your personal life who doesn't want to be there? Let them, as Mel Robbins says, let them go. And when you realize that it's actually not a no, it's actually, wow, now there's space for someone to come in who wants to be a root, who wants to be a foundation who wants to co-create, who wants to collaborate. And that's beautiful. And we don't know who those people are until we go through the transient people and the people who are like the leaves on the trees, that they come and they go, they fall off of the branches. So when we're looking to establish those roots, those foundations, those people who stand by you, those people who are loyal, we may have to go through a lot of people who are not until we get there. And that's okay, because that's part of the journey. And I know here in the States, especially in some of the states, I'm not going to mention names, but there's a lot of pressure and it's go, 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 go. And in that kind of pressure, we can't always see what's best for us or what's best for our businesses. So, what I'm hoping that you will take away from today's show is that when you hear a no, accept it. Accept it when someone tells you no. Now, does that mean that every time in your life when you hear a no that you can't push forward? Of course not. You have to evaluate, what is it going to take to possibly turn this no into a yes, because it's actually counterintuitive to everything that you might know if you've ever been in sales, because I was in sales for my entire career. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, a no to me was a not yet. But in my own businesses, I look at a no is there's either not the value on both sides, or for some reason, we're not meant to collaborate. But that's okay. And you wish that person well, because you will find your core group of people. You will find your team. Now, as you know, if I maybe you don't know, but when you grow a business, you have to keep growing. You have to keep evolving. You have to keep bringing value. So that means that you want to have new people coming into your business as well. If you think you want to have more clients, you want to have more customers, whatever the case might be. So you have to have something where you're bringing value, where it makes sense, not to just 5 people, unless those 5 people are billionaires or millionaires and they're putting a lot of their money into your business. But otherwise, you want to touch as many lives as you can where it makes sense. Sometimes during my coaching, when I'm doing business coaching, and I'll ask someone, who is your audience? Have you done market research? And I'll hear this statement, everyone is a potential client. No, everyone's not a potential client. Not everyone is going to like you. Not everyone's going to like me. Not everyone's going to see the value. Not everyone wants to be a TV show host. It's a lot of work to be a TV show host. And aside from getting out there with the public speaking, you have to walk the walk and talk the talk. And you have to show up. Like, I'm doing this show pretty much every night. That takes a huge commitment to do something every night, to come up with a title, to come up with a description, and then there's no script. So you don't know what I'm going to say, and I don't know what I'm going to say. And so to do that night after night, and I think at this point in time, since I started rapping with Dr. Jacalyn and USA Global TV and Radio, I think that I personally have done over 7,000 interviews. And that's quite a lot of interviews. So that takes a lot of work. And I've had to make a lot of sacrifices. There have been a lot of things I've been invited to over the years that I just said, no, I'm really sorry, but I'm not going to be able to do that, because I'm actually committed to doing what I'm doing. And people don't necessarily understand that. They'll say, but you own your own business. Why are you always working? Because I am the business. I am the face of the business. And so I'm fortunate in that I've been able to build a brand that's a global brand, because I have people who believe in me. And these people are the ones who show up day after day, week after week, walking the walk and talking the talk, because we all believe in some common things, namely elevated listening, meaning listening without interruption, listening without stage hogging, listening without problem solving, and listening without judgment. And by the way, that is the reason why I wrote this book, Holy but harmful, the silent sin of judgment, how hidden judgments destroy relationships and damage lives. And so at the core of USA Global TV and radio, that's who we are. We don't use scripts. And most of us are business owners. So while people are here doing television shows, they're also running businesses. And so we, as a collective group of people, really want people across the world to find inner peace. And finding inner peace comes in a lot of ways. And again, that's the core of the elevated listening. So what I teach as a coach is I teach people to set boundaries and ask permission. Meaning, a common example, if you were to call me on the phone, I don't care who you are, the likelihood of me picking up is zero. Not because I think I'm better than anyone. I absolutely am not. But I don't know what you're going to want to talk about. I don't know how long the conversation is going to go. And so I want to give you my undivided attention. So I will wait until you leave a message or until you text me. And then I will get back to you and ask, how much time do you need? Because whatever the time is, I want to make sure that I can commit to that and I can be totally present for you. So for example, let's say that you had something happen to you today. Obviously, if it's something that you feel was unpleasant or it's not something that you wanted, it was unexpected, you may be highly emotional. And the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to tell someone, because that's how we are. I've actually learned how to deal with it myself without having to go to anyone else. But I wasn't always like this. There was a point in my time when I would have to talk to somebody. So I'd call the first person, then the second person, then the third person. Then you get desperate. You're calling acquaintances, anyone to just listen to what it is you have to say. But when you learn how to set a boundary, it starts with you. And that's, again, goes back to the title, which is Elevated Listening, Finding the Hidden Yes in No. You have the ability to deal with issues, concerns yourself. You have everything that you need inside of you to make things happen. Is it nice to run things by people? Absolutely. But as many yeses as you're going to get, you're probably going to get as many no's. And then what it's going to happen, you're opening the door to problem solving. Even though you didn't ask for someone to solve what they think is your problem, in their mind, especially the male mind, they immediately go to the problem solving because they want to be helpful. So you mentioned something, you have a leak in the house, and they immediately think, okay, what she needs to do is get a plumber, do this, do that. But you just want the person to listen. And so this all ties back to following your intuition, controlling your emotions, and setting boundaries. So as we bring everything back to a close, when we look at running our own businesses, running our own lives, running a television network, for example, we have to follow our intuition, be less interested in what other people's opinions are. And as Mel Robbins says, let them. Let them do what they will do. If people decide they don't want to be part of your tribe, part of your team, let them. The last thing you want is people in your life who are angry and aggravated and just showing up to check off a box. We want people who are passionate and committed to what it is that we're doing. So if you're finding in your life that you don't feel passionate and committed to what you're doing, maybe do something else. Every time I hear from someone, I'm too old, it's too late, I've been doing this too long, wrong. I don't agree with you. I believe that you have the power and the capacity to take full charge of your life and do what you want to do. If someone says they're not going to do something, believe them. I've heard so many people say, well, maybe he'll change his mind. Maybe she'll change her mind. If they wanted to, they would. If they wanted to be with you, they would. If they wanted to take your class, they would. If they wanted to be in your coaching session, they would. If they wanted to watch this TV show, they would. I really believe that. And at 62 years of age, I'm telling you now, I have more confidence and belief in my intuition than I ever did before. And it's not because something magical came or a fairy came or came to me in a dream. It's because of the work that I've put into it. And you can do the work too. I love exercising. It's a huge part of who I am. I think there's still that voice in my head from when I was growing up, and my father would say to me, everybody loves a thin girl. You can never be too thin or too rich. And I think I still hear that. And in my mind, it inspires me. But at the core, I love working out. I can't wait to go and work out. I want to do the hardest thing I possibly can. And I've mentioned this in other shows. I did fall off the treadmill at the gym about 2 months ago. I have a scar left, which is right here. And it reminds me. And so I do this class. I'm doing it 4 times a week, and I'm actually holding on to the treadmill because when I fell, my sneakers were too big. And the only thing that saved me was that I was holding on, and I was kind of doing like a superwoman. And then eventually I had to let go. But the point is that I don't want to go work out and take the easy way. I don't want to just go to a class and give it half of a shot. No, I want to do everything I possibly can that if it's my time to leave this earth, I drop dead working out. That is how I want to go. So think about what in your life is not working. How can you look at what the role is that you're responsible for, instead of looking around and going, oh, it's her fault, it's his fault, it's the weather, it's the economy, it's the president, it's the prime minister. What role are you taking in the success of your own life? How is your emotion showing up to really be your enemy? How are you becoming so overwhelmed that you can't use logic and reason anymore? And that little voice inside that talks to you, that talks to all of us, listen to it. It probably took me 58 years before I started listening to my intuition, because believe me, I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. But now, every time I get this weird feeling that something's off, I'm going with it 100%, because you know what? It's not right. If it doesn't feel right in my gut, it's not right. So I follow my intuition. And I have to say that at this stage of my life, I've never been happier and I've never felt more fulfilled. And some of you might know because I shared this the other day, but I recently applied to Wharton and I was accepted for their Chief Strategy Officer program. And I didn't even bother calling people and telling them, because I knew if I did, one common comment that I would get, I just know, would be, well, why do you need more education? You're 62. You have a master's degree. You have a doctorate. Why? Because I'm curious, because I want to learn. I want to learn as much as I can so that I can pass it on. That's part of the reason why I'm here on this earth, so that I can help other people, that I can mentor other people, that I can help people find inner peace. So I've always wanted to go to Wharton. I never applied to Wharton. And at 62, I applied and I got in. So I'm going to start this program. It starts December 18th. And I can't even tell you how excited I am. I wish my parents were here, because I really think they're the only two people who can understand what this means to me. So the point is, it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. It doesn't matter if anyone else congratulates me or thinks it's a terrific thing. I know it's a terrific thing. I know it's a gift that I've been given. And I will take that gift and I will run with it. I will apply myself as much as I possibly can. I also sign up, I volunteered for more Peace Ambassador training. Why? Because the opportunity came to me. And why wouldn't I want to learn more about conflict resolution so that I can help be a peace ambassador across the world? Of course I would. It's a gift. It's a gift. So when opportunity presents itself to you, ask yourself, am I going to walk through the door? Am I going to open the window of opportunity, or am I going to sit on the couch and talk about other people behind their back because they're doing something and you're not? And that's not a judgment. The only thing we have is time. And how we spend our time makes a huge difference. And something I just saw today, and I don't know who it is that I can give credit to, but I read something today that really just sparked something in me. And it was basically about the fact that there are 3 places that we could go and visit to get a wake-up call. The first is a hospital. We can go in a hospital and we could find very rich people. They might have their own room. They might have their own team of private physicians and nurses, and all the money they have in the world may not be able to save their life. So it doesn't matter how many houses and cars, etc. It doesn't matter. All they have then is hope. They have hope and they have their memories. The second place is a prison. We could walk into a prison and we could see people who made a mistake consciously or unconsciously and wish they could get that 5 minutes, that hour of their life back to turn it around, but they can't. And then the third place would be a cemetery where everyone is equal because everyone's dead. So it doesn't matter what anyone had. And if we go back to the prison example, we can think of people who are in prison right now who have a ton of money, unless the government took it or they lost it in lawsuits, and they're still in prison. So the point is, the decisions that we make, in my opinion, are about giving back to others. It starts with us having integrity and belief in ourselves, being at peace within ourselves, showing up for ourselves, and then doing the same for others. Being kind, being compassionate, asking ourselves before we speak the 3 questions. Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? If it's not, do we need to say it? No, we don't need to say it. Because why? It's part of judgment. In this book, I have 100 statements that are judgmental statements. They're statements people make all the time. And if I could actually open the book, you would think I'd know what page it is. But I'll just give you some examples while I look for it. Okay, here we go. I found it. She's depressed. She just needs to cheer up. PTSD, that's just an excuse. He's bipolar. He's unstable and dangerous. These are all judgmental statements. Your kids have no idea what real hardship is. He's too old to understand technology. She's too young to be in charge. No wonder he left her. If only she kept her mouth shut and lost weight. She can't keep a man. Must be too difficult of a person to be around. Judgmental statements, and yet we make them all the time. So I wrote this book to be bringing awareness that before we speak, is it necessary? Is it kind? Is it true? So I want to thank you very much for listening. I really appreciate it. I'll be back again tomorrow. If you're not familiar with our television network, which is USA Global TV and Radio, we earned the YouTube Silver Creator Award for over 100,000 subscribers back in April. And so we'd love to have you subscribe to that. And Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck is our second channel. And that's the channel that this show is actually streaming on YouTube. I purposefully decided when I started this program that it's only going to be on my channels with my name. And it's not going to be on USA Global TV and Radio. But I do have many other shows. Let me see if I can find them. I have this show, which is Judgment, the Hidden Sin. It goes along with the book. I have Couture Treasures, which is coming up. And this is where I'll be selling some fabulous designer items. And so will other people from around the world. And I also have, let's see, where is it? Okay, I have this one. Hold on, I have this one, Creating a World of Possibilities. And I have this one, A Woman's Prerogative. And I also have this one, It's Your Healthy Lifestyle. So lots of choices. We actually have 62 different television programs. And so you can find all of them on USA Global TV and Radio. And we stream not just on social media, but we're also on Amazon Fire. We have our own app. And then we have distributors who take us over Roku, Apple, Android devices, and a couple of the distributors take us on hundreds of other platforms. We are a global platform. And what's interesting is that this channel on YouTube, USA Global TV and Radio, that the largest audience is not in the US. And Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, the largest audience is in the US. So thank you again for everyone who's been watching and listening. If you'd like to pick up a copy of my book, Holy But Harmful, you can find it in all fine bookstores. You can also find it on Amazon, along with the rest of my books. And finally, I'll leave you with this. I am hosting a retreat. I actually had the opportunity to go on a retreat with Meditation for Leadership. They did an amazing job. A number of the people I've met where I work out. And the retreat was at the Horseshoe Farm. And so I was so impressed with it. I actually met with the owner's son, and some of the management there, that I'm going to be doing my own retreat. And I'd love to have you join me. It's open to really anyone who wants to join. It is June the 3rd through the 6th. So here's a short video that you can actually see what the property looks like. And if you're interested, you can email me, and we'd love to have you join. Thanks again. I'll be back here tomorrow, and make sure you catch us for the rest of our shows. Tomorrow I'm doing the Judgment, the Hidden Sin, and also our Iconic Women show. All right, we'll be back again. See you. Nestled in the heart of the Blue Ridge Mountains, the Horseshoe Farm has always been more than a destination. It's a living, breathing reflection of community, connection, and transformation. Once a humble family farmstead, it has evolved over the years to become a sanctuary for travelers, seekers, families, and friends alike. Originally reimagined by the Turchin family as an Airbnb property, the farm began its journey into hospitality with simple roots, welcoming guests to experience the beauty and peace of the sacred land. As word spread and the vision deepened, the property organically blossomed into a boutique resort, rooted in the values of slow living, intentional experiences, and the magic of gathering. Today, the Horseshoe Farm is a 90-acre experiential retreat that merges hospitality, wellness, and culinary excellence. It is home to the Stable Spa, the Silo Cookhouse, distinctive lodging options, and a curated calendar of events that nourish mind, body, and spirit. Our guest experience is designed to be both grounding and expansive, where the comforts of luxury meet with the simplicity of nature. At its core, the Horseshoe Farm is about transformation of land, of self, and of community. We are proud of where we've come from. We are confident in who we are today and excited for the road ahead. Hello, I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, also known as the Listening Mentor and president and founder of USA Global TV and Radio. I had the opportunity, the pleasure of attending a retreat at the Horseshoe Farm just recently. I was so impressed with all of the opportunities that were presented to me in this glorious setting, as well as the highest level of customer service, that I've decided to put together a retreat at the Horseshoe Farm in Hendersonville, North Carolina, United States of America, June 3rd through the 6th, 2026. You can expect to have a beautiful time of relaxation combined with learning, community, collaboration. Do consider joining me in this wonderful opportunity to reconnect with yourself, with others, and with nature. For more information, email me at drjacalyn@usaglobaltv.com.
Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? In a world quick to judge, one book dares to reveal the hidden cost of silence. Discover Holy But Harmful, The Silent Sin of Judgment, How Hidden Judgments Destroy Relationships and Damage Lives by Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. The Amazon #1 bestseller that's transforming the way we understand ourselves and the way we see others. Pick up the companion workbook to uncover your own hidden judgments. and learn how to break free from them. Available now on Amazon and at fine bookstores worldwide.
USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents Tracy Cram Perkins, a dementia caregiving survivor teaching how to balance care with peace of mind. #1 resource for dementia caregivers. It's the book Dementia Home Care: How to Prepare Before, During, and After. Over 17,000 copies sold of this must-have guide. And now a testimonial from Tracy Smith.
If I was to describe this book to someone who is going through a similar situation, I would underscore how important it is to have some sort of a tool or a guidebook to help you through certain stages. And there's so many, it's such an unknown topic to the average person. And to have this as a reference is essential. It's going to help you get through it personally, as well as help your loved one manage.
To learn more, go to tracycramperkins.com. Tracy Cram Perkins is an award-winning author. She's also the host of Dementia Home Care television show. Watch it here on USA Global TV and Radio.